good morning, depending on where you are and or when you're watching the replay. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited you're here. My name is Betola Murray, the founder of Super Working Mom. Last week we had our first Super Working Mom conversation for the year, Super Working Mom Convo, and today we're having another one. Now, typically, we tend to have one of these conversations once a month. But because we haven't done one in a while, we thought, we would like to share the stories of two amazing women. So last week we spoke with Folake Ayemi. And so if you haven't watched that, please go check out the replay. It's available on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Today we have an amazing guest. I will be putting her on shortly. We're not live on Instagram today because last week we had some echo issues. So what we'll probably do is upload the replay on Instagram. But right now, live, we are on YouTube and on Facebook. Yay! Welcome, Falake. So if you're already here, send messages out to your friends. Trust me, you don't want to miss this episode of Support Mom Convo. So I am going to invite our guest on um, so we can get to start. Hello, Lady Goz. How are you?
Hi, Detola. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I am so excited that you're here. I know that you're a very busy woman, and so we don't take it for granted at all that you are here with us tonight to kind of share some of your journey, to share some of your process with us when it comes to manifesting your big dream. So tell us a little bit more about you. Who's Goz Nduka?
Gosh. Hi, everyone. And first of all, thank you for having me on, Detola. It's indeed a pleasure to always be in your company, both virtually and in person. So yeah, my name is Goz. My name is actually Goz Nduka. Everyone calls me Goz. I'm a single parent to a young man, a king, King David. Everyone knows him as King David. My son is 12 years old, and we are on a healing journey. At the age of 2, just before he turned 2, he was diagnosed with autism. And life as I knew it came to a standstill. So we've been on that journey, and it's just been different levels of learning experiences, and there's just been a lot going on. So first and
Mm,
foremost, I'm a mom to David. I am also a qualified solicitor, dual qualified, Nigeria and both here in the UK. I currently work in-house in the financial services sector, and I have a business I run. So I'm also a Mary Kay director. Oh, before that, I'm also tied to my legal, what I do legally. I'm also a SEN advocate. So
mm,
based on the journey I'm on, God led me to start doing some advocacy for SEN. SEN is special educational needs. So I'm a SEN lawyer. I'm currently actually volunteering with a charity that offers free legal advice to parents of parents and carers of children and young people with special educational needs. God led me on that journey, and that's my super working mom journey as well.
yeah.
Um, so I'm on that journey as well. And then, last but not least, I am a Mary Kay director. So I'm an independent sales director of Mary Kay Cosmetics. I started running that business in 2020. I teach skincare, makeup application. I teach women how to put their best face forward. And I also help women, teach women how to run a business. It's really interesting because 2 years ago, I had no clue on what it took to run a business. So there are many facets to me, but these are the main
Mm.
areas I would say.
Oh wow, fantastic! Thank you for sharing that. And as you were speaking, I went back in my mind a few years ago when we first met, and a number of these roles and things that you've mentioned, you were not there at the time. So I want you to take us a bit, let's rewind to when you and I first met, where you were, on your journey, what you, where you are, and how you've now gotten to this point where you're a SEN lawyer, you're a SEN advocate, you're a Mary Kay consultant or director. I know all these amazing things that you do. So walk us, from where you were to where you are now.
Okay, thank you. So I'll try to make it very, very brief. So in 2016, I can never forget, March 2016, I actually, let me backpedal a bit. So I think this was maybe from December, January, February. So December 2015, January, February, I was getting all these emails from a lady called Itola Mure, super working mom. I was just getting all these emails. So a friend of mine kept forwarding these emails from Detola's group, and a lot was going on. I was like, oh, who are all these women and the blah, the blah. And the next thing, they said something about a retreat going on and all that, and I was like, okay. And the next thing, another email came about, oh, if you want to be sponsored, give us reasons why, you know, you should, why you would qualify to be sponsored for a retreat. And I just said, okay. I just went, and I think I just basically poured my heart out. I was like, oh, at the time, so this is 2016, David would have been, because he would have been about five-ish, about six, yeah. So I poured out my heart. Oh, I'm going through all this. I've never had a break. I just poured out everything, and I did that. I think it was just an outlet for me. So, but I was now shocked. A few days later, I got an email saying I'd been selected to join. That I need to confirm so that And I actually had a panic attack, and I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? And God bless the lady that was looking after David, and blessing. She's really, in fact, she's still, she's a family member actually now. So when I mentioned it to her, she was like, oh, Auntie, yes, go. David and I will be fine. And that was the very first time I was going to leave David alone. So, I was just like, okay. So I now responded. And there was a lady who lived close by. So we drove down together. And I remember on the way, I said, oh, who are these people? What's this about? She only had good things to say about the group and all. I was like, okay, fine. So anyway, we got there, and introductions. We introduced ourselves, and the first thing that struck me, people were introducing themselves. Oh, I'm married, I'm this, I have children. I was like, oh, okay, it's a group of married women. What am I doing here? And then there was a lady who introduced herself. She was a single mom. Another one was a single lady as well. I said, oh, okay, that's good. It's a mix. So I now relaxed a bit. But I always say that for me, that was the beginning of the turnaround in my life, because before then, I was just drowning in this whole autism diagnosis that my son had been given. I was doing everything humanly possible, using every single penny I had. I was doing this therapy, that therapy. When I hear, oh, this one works, I'll run here, there was even a church I was going to somewhere, because I live in North London, so I was going all the way to London Bridge to one church at one point, but thankfully that was a brief period. As in solution, I was just enveloped. It just bogged me down. And then I would say, oh yes, I know God will heal David. But it wasn't from within. I was just saying it. So anyway, we had that talk, we had that chat, that weekend was phenomenal. I learned how to pray. You won't believe it. I learned how to pray using Bible verses. I think for me, that was, I just needed that spirit. It was the beginning of my spiritual journey, more or less. I'd already given my life and everything, but I was very static. Nothing was going on. So I learned how to pray, and people were talking about, oh, get this book, it's really good. Everyone was so encouraging. It was phenomenal. And you think, okay, after the weekend, that's it. No. After that, I just got this family. People would call me, oh, Goz, how are you today? How's David? As in the love. I don't think I had felt that kind of love from people who were not my family, my blood in my life. So, and then we were on Facebook Facebook, some days, where's Prophetess Emilola and co? She'll come and put a word there, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just me. Sometimes in my quiet time, I've had a word, and someone will just come and I'm like, oh, this is confirmation. It was phenomenal. And then I now had my one-to-one with you, Daytol. I remember I signed up for that because at that point in time, the women in the group were doing amazing things. Some people were running businesses, were writing books. And I was just watching. And I was happy for everyone. And you see, that's the thing for me. I'm happy with everybody. Anything you're doing, I will come and, even if it's my 2 kobo, I'll come and invest. I'll come and, be part of it. If you're writing a book, I'll just buy books and be sharing to people, whether I'm reading or not. That was just the way I was, I was happy for people, and I was happy too where I was. Nothing was really happening. Yes, I was working, looking after David and all that, but my life needed sorting out. So I had the one-to-one with you, and it was just, the first thing you said to me, the Holy Spirit is saying you're trying to heal David, like it's my power. I feel okay. No. Allow me direct you. And when you said that thing to me, it was like a huge load was taken off. And I was like, oh, okay. So from that point onwards, I said, anything I'm doing, unless I must hear from God, go ahead and do this. So I stopped all that jumping, this therapy, that, I just stopped all that. Number one. Number two, I had stopped going to church because when I go with David to church, they will tell me to go and stay with him in the children's section because he's jumping up and down. I'm like, what's the point of going to church and sitting in children's section? I'm not getting anything. So I might as well sit at home and do online service. I'm able to follow the service. David is fine in one corner, playing and doing his thing. And but you had that chat with me. Don't forsake the assembly of, brethren. Okay, let's go around the churches in your borough, and anyway, long story short, I now found a church. I walked into that church. I had peace. And as God will have it, the pastor had a stepdaughter who was on the spectrum. There was another lady that had a child on the spectrum. So they already had this understanding of what it took. So David was very relaxed. It was a home. It became our home, and from there I got linked to a fellowship that my friend had been telling me about for years. But by virtue of joining this church, I now got linked to that fellowship. So my spiritual growth just went on another level from there, and so for me, that's the one thing I'm really grateful for, and then we had all the prayers we were doing in the mornings, which still go on. So the spiritual growth, I think that I just needed to come back to God, and that was what it did for me at the time, and then of course the courses we did, maximize your time, it was such an eye-opener, learning how to maximize your time, map your life. What was the name of the other one? But anyway, finding out your purpose. I just, honestly speaking, Detola, God bless you, because when I was actually at that, and that March 2016, I was getting to a very, what will I say? I was getting to an age. Okay, I'm very young. I was getting to an age where they say life begins. Do they say life begins at 40 or after 40?
Yeah, life begins at 40.
And nothing was going. It was just like, but that just, and even the power of speaking positively. Oh my God.
Mm.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I know I'm going off a bit, but I need to mention it because, like I said, I would say, yeah, I believe God will heal him, but it wasn't from within. But at that retreat, I learned about speaking positively about. It was just, I don't know if I had been under a rock or you understand, like all these things these women were saying, and most of them were younger than me, but full of wisdom, full of spiritual wisdom. So I started speaking positively, and I tell you, Detola, I started. So before people would call me, how is David? I would say, he's fine, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But when after that retreat, when they come, I say, he's doing really good. They'll be like, oh, is he talking now? I said, no, he's not talking now, but we're getting there. He's I was,
yeah.
But, no, not but. And I now started noticing great differences. As in, I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, this thing is true. Power of the tongue, oh my God.
Yeah.
So it was such a discovery for me. Um, so we had the call. So my life needed arranging. If I might use
Mm.
that word, I needed to be sorted out. So getting my life planned properly. You know, now to maximize your time. That was such an eye opener. Pockets of the day, accounting for every minute of your day. You know,
Mm.
30 minutes. Like now, I'm doing this call. I know that it's from a certain time. After that, I know what I'm doing every till bedtime. From the moment I wake up till I go to bed, every single moment is accounted for. So
Mm.
just honestly, my life needed sorting out, and super working mom came to my life at a very pivotal moment at just the right time. And I always say I'm so grateful to my friend Pamela who was sending me those emails, because I know she had seen me and she couldn't understand. This is not the Goz I knew, because we were in uni together and all that. And she's like, this is a totally. And when you sometimes you see your friend in a state and you don't really know what to do. And I
Yeah.
think, I believe it's just the spirit that let her look, just send her those emails, because she was helpless. So like,
Yeah.
okay, let me just send her these emails, maybe. And that was it. And that's why till tomorrow, I remain so grateful to her. And that's why I always encourage people.
Mm.
Sometimes it might not be for you.
Sure.
It might be someone close to you that really needs this. And she wasn't even part of the academy at the time. Now she is, and of course she's
Yeah.
reaping the rewards and and all that. But at the time she wasn't. But God used her. So yes.
Yeah. Oh wow, 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 wow. Thank you for sharing. If anyone that knows me well knows that I love to hear people's processing. Because sometimes it's almost like people just come and you feel like they've been an overnight success. Clearly, this has taken some time for you to reach where you are today. So it wasn't suddenly like this director goes. Because people who know you today will think, oh, director goes, Mary Kay consultant, Mary Kay director, but they wouldn't know the process that got you there. So thank you for taking us back and for sharing some of your processes. So, obviously now that you do Mary Kay, and I remember during our one-to-one, one of the things we wanted to kind of, so we had a few objectives, if you remember. One was the spiritual part of things, the other was kind of help you find purpose. But I think the spiritual side of things, we focused more on that, which was great because that helped. That was the foundation for it. And then a few years down the line, you found Mary Kay. So tell us a bit about that. How did you know that this is for me? Because what tends to happen is most people, they try different things. Oh, I'm not sure. And then they just keep coasting along. But you found Mary Kay, or maybe Mary Kay found you.
Found me.
How did you recognize that this is it?
You know what? I think God just ordained today, because the lady that actually introduced me to Mary Kay, today is her 50th birthday. And her story is so inspiring. I can't start sharing it now because we'll be here forever, but she inspires me daily because she's on a journey of waiting as well. And in her journey, 20 years of waiting, she has blessed so many women, so many families, through her have been blessed, and I'm one of the beneficiaries. So, like, if you remember, I mentioned a fellowship I now got connected to through my church, and that's where I met her. And I always say that, you know, I did have a chat with her about something entirely different. She was running a mentoring room, and it's just funny because the first day we spoke, I remember we found out that we had a lot of mutual friends. And I remember mentioning you, and she was like, yeah, yes, I know Tetola. I know, that sort of thing. There were just a lot of, and so by the end of that conversation, we were like, you know what, we're practically family because we know so many people, and all that. So anyway, she did mention Mary Kate. In fact, immediately she mentioned, I just shut it down and say, no, And once in a while, when I would see her bump into her, she'd be like, come and run your business. Um, every woman has a voice. No, every woman needs a stage or something like that. Some along those words, I can't really remember. But she's like, people need to hear your story. People need to be part of your journey. That sort of. And I'm like, what's this woman talking about? And then I remember there was this particular retreat just before the lockdown that I went to, where we were. This is LDPR. This is run by another friend. So we were praying in tongues for like, I think it was 24 hours, 8 hours each day. And she happened to be at that, yes, and she happened to be at that retreat. So I remember seeing her, she was like, come and pray about it. I said, I said, God has to direct me if I'm doing anything, God has to direct me, because unless He directs me, I know that if He's in it, then I'll be successful. You know, that kind of thing. And only when we started praying, sister, the first thing God said to me was something about Abby. I said, hey, I actually turned around to look for this one. I said, is she invoking me or what? You know, because He gave me a specific message. And He said, go ahead. And I'm like, ah. And then I'm like, because then makeup, I didn't even know about skincare, that Mary Kay did skincare. All I knew about Mary Kay was makeup. And I'm like, God, I'm not a makeup person. He said, no, that's not what it's about. He just gave me the breakdown. In fact, the other day I went to open the book and I said, oh God, I need to focus on this, which is what, I'm here in this business for. But he gave me the breakdown of exactly what it's about. And I didn't understand it at all. But me, at that point, I'm like, I have to obey. I was on that at that point in my spiritual journey where if God speaks, I will do it. So at that point, I knew that, okay, I will definitely have to do this thing. But the question is when? Well, a month later, lockdown happened. A WhatsApp, something popped up on my phone, her WhatsApp status or so. I now sent her a message. I said, okay, come and sign me up. She actually thought I was joking. I can't forget this, April 1st, 2020. She actually thought I was joking.
April Fool, eh?
Exactly, because it was late. I know. She sent me the link. I signed up. She was like, anyway, and there the journey started. And honestly, I brought out so many things out of my Mary Kay starter kit. First of all, extra money. Everyone needs multiple streams of income, and especially now with the high cost of living, blah blah blah. Not even one. Multiple streams of income is a given. Number one. Number two, it just made me realize that I could run a business while looking after my son. So during the lockdown, there were some months, I think the first few months, I was even out of contract because I work as a contract lawyer. I just focused on my business. And it just became my happy day. Every day I'll get up in the morning, get dressed, sit down in front of my computer, call people, do what I needed to do. And the business was just, God's hands were obviously in it, because I would call people for sessions. People loved the products. Even me, I was discovering the skincare. I'm like, oh, wow. It was just amazing. And people would come. Sometimes I'm even talking to people and they're like, oh, I think I'll join the business. And I'm like, I will just tell them to go and join it, do a skincare session. So it just, and then within a few short months, I became a director. And even me, I was like, God, okay, why? Why are things moving quickly like this? And why, and then of course, as time progresses, as things move and as things unfold, you understand why God has made things happen in that way. So yes, extra income, the fact that I realized I could run this business at my own time, on my own terms, and look after my son. It didn't take me away from that. And then, there were just so many things I was learning in Mary Kay, which we had learned in Super Working Mom. So like, you remember the Maximus time, we had this sheet where, we have the weekly plan sheet in Mary Kay. So the day, I got, when I was doing on the training and we had the sheet, I'm like, this is what we, just honestly speaking, a lot of things we were taught are things that, we've gotten while doing the courses in Super Working Mom. So yeah, I could run, and then I got to meet these amazing women. So for me, I just feel really blessed, because it's like I have these two groups of amazing kingdom-minded women. So of course, my director, I met her in my fellowship. She's a kingdom-minded woman. And like attracts like. So most of us are kingdom-minded women. So we all, lift each other up, pray for each other, just encourage each other. Everyone is rooting for the other. So it's just a phenomenal group of women I'm with, it also helped me hone in my skills as a SEN advocate. So like I told you, I'm a SEN advocate, but prior to that, I wasn't really doing much with it. But this now almost became like my pulpit, so to say. I'll be doing sessions with people and immediately they hear my story, like, oh, please, I have a sister. I have my brother's, my cousin's wife. Oh, this lady in my office. This one, her child has just been, oh, this. And then some of them will say to me that, oh, why can't you see this lady? Why can't she be like you? And I'll be like, look, I wasn't always like this. I'm on a journey. So I totally understand where she's at. And one of the things God had told me when he told me to go on this path, I felt, because there's a word from God for David, you know, in terms of where he's going to be. I know that David's healing is sure. You understand? I'm just waiting for the manifestation. But I had felt that it has to happen. And then when it,
Mm.
because most times when you see people come to help people, they've been through the journey, they've gone past it, all is rosy, and they're now help. God said, no, it's while you're on the journey that you're going to do it.
Mm.
Because then you're coming from a point of empathy.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, there's a training I went for where this lady, she's a top SEN lawyer, came to talk to the parents. And when during that session, I really understood what God was saying, because her son, I think he's even married now. He's gone through the process. He went to uni. So now she helps. She represents parents in court. She's earning a lot of money. She makes a lot of money and all that and all that. But she's like, go and remortgage your house and come and pay us so that we'll help you, and stuff like that. She didn't mention the fact that there's some charities that will help parents free of charge. She didn't mention that. And then there's this lady who said, oh, she had a friend who had so much money. Within 6 months, they were able to sort out her son's school, but because she didn't have any money, it took her 18 months.
Mm.
And what she said to her, yes, you see, so instead of that, just even if it means borrowing money, blah blah. And I'm like, I mean, I felt it was really being insensitive. And I remember
Mm.
going up to that lady and saying to her that now you've been, I don't even know what gave me the boldness. I told her, now you've been through this journey, you're going to help, you have to help other people so that it will take them longer and a shorter
Shorter.
time to achieve, to be able to help their children get into the right school. And they won't have to spend 18 months like you did. And she was like, oh, I said, yes, that's what you have to do. So I actually even took her number, but, I've never spoken to her since that day. And this is some years ago, you know. And that made me understand what God meant by while you're on the journey, because she'd
Yeah.
been, she'd passed through it, she'd forgotten about the
Yeah.
pain.
How
You
it
know,
feels. Yeah.
yes. I,
Mm.
I mean, I mean, for me, I have one child. Some of these people have other children, so
Mm.
it's difficult for them. They're not able to give that attention to that one person. And they're not going to bankrupt themselves because of one child. What happens to the others? It's just striking a balance and finding a way. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to volunteer with this charity and just help them to give free legal advice to parents while I'm still on the journey. And even for me, Mary Kay is for me is a tool to help
Yeah.
me achieve that dream. Eventually, I'll have my own consultancy, but
Yeah.
I don't want it to be one that will be charged. I want to be able to help parents,
Yeah.
And so for me, money is needed to do that, of course. So I believe Mary Kay is the tool that God has given
Mm.
me to achieve that. So I'm still on the journey, but yes, I'm on it.
Oh my days. Thank you so much, Goz. And as you were speaking, I was smiling. I was smiling because, part of what you said is it's almost like some of what you've learned to support someone. And this is something a number of the ladies within the community say. Like they see it as a training ground where they learn stuff and then now go out to influence their own world. They go out and dominate their mountain of influence. We talk about that all the time, several mountains of influence. So you are clearly, dominating, or you're on that path of dominating the family, mountain of influence, and all of that. So I'm really blessed just hearing you share your story and where you've been and how, you've been able to navigate some of the challenges. So let's talk a bit more about that because obviously there's challenges along the way, and it's possible that there is a single mom listening right now, and you might not be single, but you just feel overwhelmed with life. You feel, I don't even know where to start from. I'm just tired, you know. So, what would you advise to moms, but particularly single moms, because the being a single mom comes with its own challenges, its own peculiar challenges. What advice would you give to single moms who are trying to be great mothers to their children or their child, and yet they want to manifest their big dreams? They want to be where Director Goz is with their own with whatever God has laid upon their heart. So what from your own journey, what would you advise these women to do? They want to be great moms, but they also want to have their own identity and manifest their big dreams.
Okay. First of all, your volume is a bit
Oh,
shaking.
oh, oh,
Yeah, it's
sorry.
coming in and out, just so that.
Oh dear. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so did you hear the question or do you want me to
Yeah,
repeat?
I heard the
Okay.
question. Oh, yeah, I just said so that you would correct it for
Okay.
the. Yeah. So, first of all, first of all, it's God. And sorry to go back to Mary Kay briefly. One of the things that really struck me about Mary Kay is our priorities. We're taught to put God first, family, and then career. And I don't think, well, my job doesn't tell me that. My job doesn't even care about my family, talk less of my God. Or, it's just do the job. So, that's one of the things that stood out for me. Another thing that stood out for me was the fact that, I was watching videos of people in America and they're saying things like, oh, I gave my life when I joined Mary Kay. I'm like, oh, really? How? You understand? It's really, I mean, Mary Kay herself was a Christian, God bless her. So she was a Christian. So it's steeped on solid Christian principles, you know. And so I always say with everything is God first. And I really like that, but taught that in Mary Kay because I apply it in every aspect of my life, in everything, even sometimes when there's conflict, I'm like, okay, God first, family, and then, what's to follow, work, business, or career. They need to just come back to God first.
Mm,
Because for me, that was where things started turning around. Because once you turn back, once you come back to God, because it's it's quite a journey, honestly speaking. And I always say that it's just by God's grace that I'm even still
mm,
here. Because sometimes there are things you go through and you just it just looks bleak, you know. Um, I just didn't know what the future had in store for my son or I, or, and I remember that first meeting when I spoke, and when I came back a year after, and someone says, oh my God, I didn't even know you were the person. They were like, there's a stark difference in a year. So this was the following the retreat the year after. And that was because of what had happened in that 1 year, my experience in Super Working Mom. And that 1 year, it was almost like I was on a spiritual journey, you know, going back to basics, going back to God, speaking positive, just believing, faith, faith, faith. So you need to, there's no rocket science. You have to come back first.
mm,
Come back. And if you don't know how or where to start, and you're listening to me, please just contact Datola. Honestly speaking, just contact her because that was what I needed at the time. Business. I didn't even see myself running. You understand? If you had told me I would be running a business, I would have said how from where to where. You understand? So that wasn't what I needed at the time. God just knew what I needed. Somebody who would guide me spiritually, a group of
yeah.
women who would bring me back. So your first love, God, because when you get back, when you come back to your first love, He will direct you. He will guide you. He will show you things. As in, honestly speaking. So that. Secondly, well, I've already wanted to do that, but you need to connect with a group of women, a group of people who are genuinely. So you see, a lot of people speak the speak or talk the talk,
Mm,
but they're not actually genuine, they're not actually real. So
mm,
it's really important for you to have. I didn't have any discerning spirit at the time. God just led me to the right set of people. But you really need to pray for spirit of discernment because you want to be with people who are of like mind, people of who are keen. And I just remember, sorry, I just keep taking on. I remember there was a point when, my Mary Kay journey, there was something I was doing one time and Abe, that's my senior director, she said to me, all those things you've been learning all those years in Super Pokemon, come and do it now. you know? And
mm,
there was honestly, she would always make references. And then there was another time, I can't remember what it was I was doing. She now said something like, you better do it, or you better not mess up. Or what would you say? Tell I want they told her fully, that kind of thing. you know, because she knew, um, the sort of group I had come out from,
Yeah.
and I want to just quickly mention this before I continue with the question. I mean, when I started running my Mary Kay business, the support I got from Superworking, oh my God. It was like everybody came out, okay, Goz is doing this. Let us, our sister is here, let us support her. It was, I mean, till tomorrow, she always says, look, Super Working Mom is one group where I've seen, this thing women say, women supporting women. Most people, it's just talk. But Super Working Mom is a living example, honestly.
Mm.
A living, I mean, and I plugged in. That was one thing I did. I know
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. And, that's why. So, yeah. So, going back to the single mom. So, plug in a group of women. You need a community. You can't do it alone. Look, and I always tell young people who, other moms, both special needs and non-special needs, that there are a lot of things I or didn't do at the beginning of my journey with David, which if I had people around me. If I had these people around me, I would
Mm.
have done it. One of them is sending him to a special school. Now, special schools are good for people. Some people need it. But with what I know now, if at that point in time, David should have gone to a special school. That's one of the
Mm.
things I don't want to say I regret, but that's one of the things I would have done differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, a supportive group of women. You need to plug into a place where you would get, I mean, the thing is, we become so consumed with the children, and I will still say it could be special need or not special. We just become consumed with them, and we lose all sense of self. Now,
Mm.
you are a person. God has a divine purpose for everyone. Everyone has, that thing God has called them to do, and you know, you well at the day of when that day comes, and God, what questions, what's your response going to be to the question, what did you do with what I gave you? You understand? So your children, yes, they're part of what God has called you to do, but there are things you yourself have to do. So you need to discover, you need to go through that journey of discovering what it is you
Mm.
have to do, your purpose. Um, and like I said, Super Working Mom is a place where you can discover that. I know a lot of people who said they came to Super Working Mom and that's where they knew what they needed to do with their lives. You need to do that because when you do that, you become a better parent. You're
Mm.
able to actually help your family, your children more. But
Yeah.
if you're just lost in them, you're not helping them. You're not helping yourself. And you now find that after a while, you actually get frustrated. Because I remember even before I joined Super Working Mom and all that, I'd gotten to a point where I was thinking, oh God, is this life? What's okay? I just go work and doing everything to help my son. Life was meaninless. I will tell
Mm.
you. It didn't really, that was just all I was doing, but it was just empty. So yeah, those are the three main things I would advise them. Go back to God, find a group of supportive women. You need that, but the right group. And then, you know, self-development is
Yeah.
something that you must is a given if you want to really get out of that drum, where you find yourself. It can be done.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit more about that self development because a lot of women find it alien when they hear self development. First of all, some people don't even know what that means. Like what's self development? And then you find that a lot of women, and I know I'm generalizing a bit here, but in my experience with the women typically, when there's ashrabi for the non-Nigerians, that's like an attire you wear when someone's getting married or getting shoes, bags, and all of those things are great. That's not the problem. But we tend to focus more in investing in material things compared to intangible things such as our personal growth. So I want you to expand that a bit more. Why should you, as a woman, whether you're married or not, whether you're single, why should you invest in your personal growth? Why is that
You need to invest in yourself because it's, I don't know, for me it's a no-brainer. You need to invest in yourself because that way you're able to help those around you. You're able to help your family, you're able to help your children, you're able to help your loved ones. You need to fulfill that divine calling, that
Mm,
purpose, what God has called you to do. So it's more important. It's what will stay with you for life. I mean, we're celebrating my director today. She's 50. She has blessed numerous lives. Lives have been touched. You understand? Sometimes people come and say, "Oh, this happened. If not for Director Abe, I wouldn't be here." When you hear people and you're like, "This person is still alive. This person is not gone," and she's here and she's making this kind of impact. You know,
mm,
blessing women. I mean, there's some people who would have been in her situation, waiting on the Lord, and they're just miserable. They're
yeah.
just but honestly speaking, she inspires me on my own journey of waiting because she carries it with such grace and dignity. And I know that it's not easy. I mean, there are moments when in the night I'm up crying, I'm praying and I'm like, sometimes some days can be quite trying. You have those moments. And then you just get up and you just come out, and then maybe one of the ladies has called you. What are you going to tell her? Oh, no, you encourage her, even though you're not feeling that way at that point in time. So you're a beacon of light. You have to fulfill destiny. And some people say, "Oh, I'm not." Yeah, look, if you want to help your family, help yourself first. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're on the plane, they tell you if the oxygen mask drops, put yours first before you put it. That is just the same thing. You have that child you want to help, you will be a better person if
Yeah.
you go and get that self-development, that training, that you plug in. I hear people in America share their testimonies, for instance, where they say because their children have been watching them, doing what they're doing. Some of the children are now trying to do their own businesses. Some of the children are more confident. It's just the children are way. Meanwhile, before all you were doing was just you're sending this child to private school, you're doing this, you're doing that. But now
Mm,
the children themselves are better people. I mean, I saw Moyo at the last retreat. That's your daughter, and I was amazed. And this is because of what you have done with yourself, how you've invested and what you're doing. And your child is just, she's amazing. You know. So if you want your children to be better, you want your family to, you need to do if getting that, help, that self-development really is key. Shoes and bags, sometimes you buy a shabby, you wear it once, that's the end.
and that's it.
You buy seriously, you buy what they call it clothes. Sometimes the clothes I've not worn them in years. Some of them you spend so much money, even jewelry.
Mm,
Sometimes you just, but the money or whatever the resources you spend, developing yourself will never. They will even put you in better state. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you become a better wife, a better mom, a better, child to your own parents, a better person to even your family members.
Mm. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And you said it all. If you want to improve in any other aspect of your life, improve yourself. If you want to lead others, lead yourself. Because you can't give what you don't have. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to invest in yourself. And that's why Super Ultimum exists. You've heard Lady Goss talk about some of the impact that Super Ultimum had on our lives, which is now translated into our own business. And that is profound. So if you're joining us, we really want to, um, we're talking about some of Director Goz's journey from where she started with Super Ultimum, and we're so big on personal development. Not just that, we're very, very big on spiritual development because that is the core. If you are
Your sound
growing,
is a bit
oh dear, can you hear me?
just I can hear you,
Hold on.
but you
Let
might be
me
struggling.
change. Okay,
Mm.
let me. Maybe I should stop.
Uh-oh.
Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, yes, this is better.
Oh, this is better. Oh wow, okay.
Mm.
Oh,
Mhm.
I hope everyone in who's
Sometimes
live.
we just leave all those gadgets.
I know, right? Sometimes just leave all the gadgets. I hope you can hear me, everyone.
Yes.
Yes, so personal development is key, spiritual development is key, and that is what we teach in Super Working Mom. We want to be able to empower as many kingdom women as possible because so many women are lost. They're overwhelmed, they're running around doing every other thing apart from what they've been called to do. So in Super Working Mom, that is what we show you. We teach you, well, should I say teach, or we show you, how to relate to God. We show you how to find purpose. Oh, okay, it's much better now. Thank you. We show you how to find purpose and how to maximize your time so that you can manifest your big dreams. And you're already hearing from our guest speaker how she is manifesting some of her big dreams. So we're rounding up now. So what would you say to someone? We've kind of talked about it, but what would you really say to someone who is looking for help when it comes to maximizing their time or manifesting their calling, but they're saying, "Oh, I'm too busy. I don't have time to cover for personal development." What else will you say to them? Or practically, what would they need to do to prioritize personal development? Or what have you done to prioritize your personal development?
Hmm. The thing is, you know, if you have, I don't even know. I wanted to say that if it's important to you, you will find time. But the thing is, sometimes people don't really know that it's important.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So they don't really understand the value. So I think the best way would be for me, I'll just say we have super working mom. Just come and have a chat with Datola and see where you're at and take it from there. Honestly speaking, that's what I would just recommend. You know, I don't I would really just say come and join the Super Working Mom Academy because honestly speaking, your life will change.
Mm,
I'm a testimony. I can testify. I say the year after I came for the retreat, March 2016, and when I came the following year for the prayer retreat, and I was introducing myself, and I didn't even realize it was when they commented that, oh my God, you're a totally different person. In fact,
wow.
one of the lady was saying that the first day, the year before, I was actually huddled in a corner, and I could when she was saying that, I could remember that I was huddled in a corner. I had this shawl on me. It was almost as if I wanted to enter the ground.
Mm,
And then the year after, I'm coming and I'm introducing myself. My tone was different. My outlook was. She was like, "Oh my God, it's you! Seriously, like two of them." And then someone, I that also, and that's when I actually realized the growth. I didn't realize what was happening until they commented. So you know, it's a no-brainer, and we need. I don't know. We just need more women to just rise up, and
mm,
especially with what is going on today, they're trying to teach our children on all kinds of things. They're just, and if we're just sitting in our spot and not being able to develop ourselves, then we're not able to even have a voice
mm,
to say no. This is not what we want for our kids. We're just going to allow, anything go for them. But if we're able to develop ourselves, we're
yeah,
able to get to that point where we can have a say so.
yeah.
And I actually remember once I was doing a pamper session for women with who had children with special needs, a group of them. And I said to them, because I remember I was teaching them how to take care of their skin and everything. And I said, look, we're going to walk down to storm down, go down to Downing Street and tell them this is what we want done for our kids. But we're not going to turn up looking all that. No. When they see us, first of all, they'll be like, they're glowing, as in they will now stop and pay attention and listen to what we're saying just because of the way we're looking. But that's the same thing with your personal development. When you're empowered, you're able to do so much. You're able to give your family, especially your children, you know, your children, the young ones around you, your nieces and nephews. You might even be a mother to even children you haven't birthed. There might be people who look up to you as a mom or an auntie. The best way for you to help them is for you to get this self development. Joining the Super Working Mom Academy I would say is your number one. There's nothing else I can recommend to you, honestly. Apart from, yes, you can do that and also come and join Mary Kay as well. But I'll tell you, I know, but I'll tell you, honestly, super working mom, some of the skills, some of the things I'm doing in Mary Kay, it's an offshoot. And honestly speaking, it's an offshoot of what I got out of super working mom. I'm telling you. The friends, the people in super working mom, I mean, and if you're going to come, I will tell you just plug in. You know, when I came and I was surrounded by this love, by these women, it was a no-brainer. All the retreats, in fact, that now became my annual or bi-yearly. Like I remember then when I'm getting a nanny or carer for David, because then I used to have people that would live out, so they will come. I'll tell them, look, but there will be 2 weekends where you will have to stay with David because I'm going away. As in, that was part of the terms and conditions.
Wow.
Yes, because that's how important it was to me. And I am so grateful. I am so, so grateful to God. March 2016, that was the beginning of the turnaround. And I'm still on a journey, but I am I'm so far away from where I was.
Yes.
Then, so please, and if you have friends who, they're going through, it could be anything. It might not just be, people, ladies that have children with special needs. They could just be going through, anything. Sometimes it could just be that they've gotten to that point where they're like thinking there's more to life. They just feel empty. They're just going through the motions, working, okay, sending your children to the best schools. Nothing is really, they feel empty inside. And you can see it. Just connect them. If you have to send them the emails like Pamela did, but I would say even better, just direct them, give them the link to connect with Datola. I mean, I know you do those discovery calls with people to, they can have a chat with, I would say have a chat with Datola, so you can just identify where you're at and what you need to do, to get going. For me, when I started, because like I said, a lot of people were doing businesses, writing books. What I needed at that point in time in my life was spiritual growth, spiritual guidance, and it's just funny because you think, okay, maybe she needs one pastor or one. No, it was what I did with Super Working Mom that led me to the church I now became part of, led me to an amazing fellowship that's, my amazing woman of God, Auntie Nika. But it was Super Working Mom that led me on. Wow. You understand? So
glory to God. Wow, no, this is amazing, and I'm never tired of hearing your story. And we've not even scratched the surface because there's so much of time. We'll kind of wrap this up. The link is on the screen. If you want to know more about the academy, the Super Working Mom Academy, currently we're running a scholarship where you join for like a ridiculous amount, but the value you will get, just hearing you alone, the value you will get is way, way, way more than the investment you'll be making in. But we've decided this year to make, we know about the cost of living, high cost of living and all, but we don't want money to be an excuse. So that's why we've created the scholarship option, so that you can join us. Plug in. You need to plug in, because if you don't plug in, you're still going to be the same way you came. But for people that plug in fact, within less than 3 months, you begin to see a difference. You begin to see a transformation in your thinking, in your speech, and it will translate to every other aspect of your life. That is one guarantee, So you've heard it from one of our members. She's amazing, amazing, amazing director, Goz, like we like to call her. So to round up, can you share one of your favorite quotes, and why?
I'm sure you know what I'm going to say. But before I say that, can I just say that?
Yeah.
A year from now, I know that in 3 months your life will be transformed, but
Yeah.
Really, a year from now, you don't want to look back and just be at the same place, the same
Yeah.
position,
Mm-hmm.
when you could take those steps today and start changing things for the better.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
you don't want to, you know, you don't want to be there, honestly. So my favorite quote, what God cannot do does not exist. Now,
Is it a quote?
let me just tell you, my favorite quote has always been Matthew 19:26. With God,
Yeah, with
all
God, all
things
things
are
are possible.
possible.
Hmm.
So when, Pastor Jerry came up with his, I mean, for me, it's one and the same. What God cannot do does not exist. And that's really just true. Nothing is impossible with God. I tell you that I am here sitting, talking to Datola. It's just God. Honestly
Hmm.
speaking, that
Hmm.
I can tell you that.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a declaration, not a quote.
Yes, I said take
We would
it.
accept it. We would accept it like that. Then he said, that's a declaration, Goz. I like
Yes,
that.
it is. It's my favorite verse. It's my favorite everything.
Favorite
So yeah,
quote, favorite declaration, favorite
everything.
everything.
That's it.
What
That's
God
it.
cannot do
That's it.
does not exist. Glory, hallelujah. Now, you'd have heard God's mention about the retreats a couple of times. We actually have our next prayer retreat coming up March 31st to April 2nd. This March 31st. So if you want to join, we need to put up the link somewhere so that you can. We still have a few spaces. It's already been booked. I mean, the few spaces, the number of the women in the support community have booked their spaces. So if you want to join us, we would love to have you join us. Um, and it's a prayer retreat with a difference, and I'm sure God will tell you it's with a difference, right? We focus more on intimacy with God because that is key. Because many of us are used to talking at God and we're not even listening to what He's saying to us. So at our prayer retreats, we take it a step back and say, let's start with intimacy. What is God saying to you in this season? Rather than you backing all your orders at Him and saying, God, this, do that. What is God saying for you in this season? So it's nearly 9 o'clock. This has been really, really
Oh,
an
wow.
amazing session. Yeah, I know time flies when you're having fun. It's been a great session. Any last words before we wrap up? Any last words you want to share?
My last words would be don't sit on the fence. Why are you laughing? What were you expecting me to say?
Now, like
That
I
was a
said, my last words.
mistake. My last words would just be take action tonight. Don't
Yeah,
even say, okay, maybe tomorrow. Tonight, take action.
tonight.
Just take
I like
action.
that.
Your life will be better for it.
Yeah,
Trust
it
me.
will be. It
Trust
will
me.
be. It will be.
You would look back and you would really give thanks to God.
I can see people hailing you in the comments. Someone says, my director.
Yeah.
Um, yes.
Mm.
There was some comments earlier, but they kind of disappeared. So I was going to put up some comments, but they just disappeared, which is
I can
annoying.
see
But you
this.
can see them. Can you see the comments?
Yeah.
Olufalake says, so good. Thank you so much, Director Goz and Coach Datola. You are welcome. A Bamidele is giving us some fire emojis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Queen Esther as well, fire emojis. Thank you everyone for joining. Um,
Thank you, guys.
if you're not a member of the Super Mom Academy, what are you waiting for? Check it out. And it's for Kingdom Women. We put God first, and we show you the skills, the steps on how to maximize your time, because that is one thing a lot of mothers and women struggle with, how to maximize your time so that you can manifest your big dreams. So look forward to having you on board. We're having an onboarding session with our new members tomorrow evening. So, like Director Goss said, today is the day you need to join tonight, so that tomorrow we do the
Now.
onboarding session, and then the following week we start work. We plug in and we start work. Olufalake says, make a move now. That is it. Make a move now. Don't wait. Tomorrow, how did they say it? Tomorrow waits for no one. Prayer retreat link. Okay, we will good question. Oh, no, not yeah. We would add it as part of the show notes on once this is done, we'll put it on the show notes so that you can check that out. So thank you everyone. Thank you, Director Goz. You have been amazing. How can people connect with you if they want to?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Detola, for having me on. I really, really appreciate this. Um, I appreciate you greatly. I thank God for the day you were born, honestly. You've been such a blessing. And it's funny, I was thinking of you today. You remind me so much about you remind me you're just like Abe, your impact. Yes, your impact is a lot of families have been blessed by
Mm.
you. So it's really amazing. You guys are walking in your calling and you're just, you're doing all that God has called you to do. It's really, really great. It's such I'm really blessed, I'm really, really blessed to have both of you actually in my life, and I'm learning from both of you, and I pray that I will be able to, even if I'm able to do a tenth of what you guys have achieved so far, then I'm sure God will be okay with me.
Oh, thank you so much.
So yes, at Glow with Goz, at Glow with Goz
Glory.
on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, so it's the same name, Glow with Goz, right?
Glow with Goz,
Once you
yes.
put it on Google, it will bring it out.
Yes,
There's
exactly.
only one Glow with Goz, and
Yes.
there she is right there. Thank you so much. When I again see that's the thing we do in Super Pokemon. We'll start hailing each other. But when I think about you and your journey, I'm just blessed because it shows me that what we do, the vision God gave me truly works. It's not all fluff, it's not all theory, it is transformational. And so when I see real life cases like you, well, for lack of a better word, I'm using the word case, but when I see, real life people where
Mm.
they've experienced transformation, it just blesses me. And when I'm feeling down and discouraged, and I remember, your story, Folake's story, and every other amazing woman within the community, I have no choice but to keep going and keep moving by the special grace of God. So thank you for allowing me into your space and allowing me into your life. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I pray for God's grace and for Him to, protect you, guide you, and just give you all you need so that you can continue to be the blessing you are to
Amen.
so many, so many.
Thank
God bless.
you. And I should say that I'm one of your clients. See, can you not see how my skin is glowing? Like, can you not check it out? So I'm actually a client as well. And that's the thing. She's my client, I'm a client.
Yeah,
What else?
we support each other. The super working mom
Yeah,
are amazing. And that's the thing. They support each other. It's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
You can see
Okay. Yeah. Fumi says
Who
glow
is
with
one of
God.
them?
Yeah,
Yes.
our top client.
Yes, so.
So thank you. We can go on and on, but we're going to wrap it up because, we know that everyone here has other stuff they want to do. But thank you for hanging out with us. If you're on the replay, I hope you're watching up to this point. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Um, Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. It's Super Okimom. Type Super Okimom. We are the only ones. You'll find us. So yeah, we look forward to connecting more with you. And next month we'll bring back another amazing Super Okimom convo, with another amazing Super Working Mom. Thank you, Denise. She says my skin is glowing. Thank you. There's no filter. This is it.
Exactly.
Oh, Adekunla, if you want to meet Director Goz, come for the March
For the
retreat.
prayer
That's
retreats,
all I'm
I'll be there
saying.
live. Please
That's
come.
all. That is all. Well, yeah, she's one amazing woman you want to meet. And she's calling you. Oh, okay, sorry, DR. I was going to say Dr. Goz. Maybe, yeah, that's a prophetic word for you there. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining and enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your day, depending on where you are right now. God bless and
God bless.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.